Mayor Jim Strickland and the Memphis Office of Youth Services present True Blue Tuesdays with Ike Griffith.
Welcome to True Blue Tuesdays. I'm your host, Ike Griffith. True Blue Tuesdays is an initiative of the Memphis Office of Youth Services in collaboration with the Memphis Police Department. This initiative is designed to give our young people a thorough understanding of the law, law enforcement, and individuals' rights. The youth in this city is a top priority of Mayor Jim Strickland. Building relationship is one of his top priorities, and producing a law-abiding society in our city. Mayor Strickland?
Hi, I'm Mayor Jim Strickland. First, I want to say how happy I am that you've taken an interest in this program, and I hope you will find it helpful to you. Over the last several months, we've been looking for ways to build trust and improve the relationship between our Memphis Police Department and the neighborhoods they serve. One of the ideas we came up with was this program, True Blue Tuesdays. True Blue Tuesdays will be used to recruit students like you who may have an interest in law enforcement. As you go through this, I hope you will see the goal of this program is to help educate you about the laws we have in place, the rights you have as individuals, and equally as important, introduce you to the law enforcement officials, which will enable you to begin building a relationship, create trust, and possibly lead to an invaluable career as a law enforcement officer. Again, I hope you have a great time with this program and that you learn a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Strickland. We'll be back with more True Blue Tuesdays with Director Mike Rollins right after these messages. Stay with us.
The Memphis Office of Youth Services, empowering our youth for positive results. Visit our website to learn more, cityofmemphisyouth.org.
Every story has a beginning. My story begins with the Memphis Police Department. Starting out as a police service technician and working my way up the ranks, I've written the story of a lifetime.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Caroline Mason Beasley, and I'm the best in blue. Apply today, and you too can become the best in blue.
We are reimagining policing. To apply, visit joinmpd.com.
It's that time again for Mayor Jim Strickland and the Memphis Office of Youth Services Summer Employment Registration, beginning December 1st through December 31st. To register, go to our website, cityofmemphisyouth.org. That's cityofmemphisyouth.org. Don't miss this opportunity for summer employment. So register beginning December 1st through December 31st for Mayor Jim Strickland and the Memphis Office of Youth Services Summer Employment Registration.
When I was a kid, a police officer made a huge impact in my life. From then on, I knew that I wanted to become a police officer and make a positive impact in the lives of others and in my community.
I am Officer Andres Juarez, and I am the best in blue. I serve my city, my community, and my culture. Apply today, and you too can become the best in blue.
We are reimagining policing. To apply, visit joinmpd.com.
Welcome back. My first guest for this program is the Director of the Memphis Police Department, Mr. Mike Rollins. Welcome, Mr. Rollins. What prompted you to go in law enforcement, and kind of give us some background information on how you got started in law enforcement?
Well, thank you. That's a great place to start. So I'm hoping in sharing this story, there'll be some more young men and women that are attracted to the law enforcement profession. And we know that this is a challenging time for us all across the nation as we reimagine policing in Memphis and in the United States. So I always wanted to be a police officer since I was a little boy. I actually joined the United States Army after high school. So I graduated from Wooddale High School, joined the United States Army, spent 4 years active duty, and then I joined the police department in 1990 as a patrol officer. So I worked in several different precincts. I worked at the training academy for probably 10 years, but I was able to get promoted to sergeant, went to the investigative bureau, went back to the training academy. I taught our officers how to safely use their firearms, taught them how to properly use force, how to de-escalate situations, how to respond to a crowd control situation. And so then I was promoted to lieutenant. So I supervised some downtown, the entertainment district unit. I made major, took over the training academy as a training commander. I was promoted to colonel, so I was a precinct commander. And then in 2009, I was promoted to deputy chief, and I supervised uniform patrol, District 1 and District 2, and also special operations for a period of time. And finally, I was promoted to a director of police in 2016, and I've served that position up until today. But I will say, Ike, it's been a great career. I've been able to serve my community. And so if we have individuals that want to serve their community and give back, be the change that they want to see, we want them to go to joinmpd.com and look at the opportunities that you'll have in a law enforcement career in Memphis, Tennessee.
We know creating a bond is very important in any city when we are dealing with our youth and our citizens and law enforcement. How important is it to create a relationship with law enforcement, and why is it that we have so many deaths among our youth?
So, our youth have a number of challenges in Memphis, and we know that we talk about, the educational system, we talk about the challenge of poverty, the challenge of housing, and sometimes the challenge of homelessness and hunger. And so we know that our youth have a challenge, but we need to find solutions. And when we talk about that, for example, youth crime watch in the school systems that our COP unit does, teaching kids to, report individuals that may have brought a gun to school, or if there's going to be someone selling drugs or a gang fight, that, you are just as responsible for your safety as the teachers, the police officers, and the parents. So if I look at the tragic 29 children that have lost their life this year, 23 of those were murders, and the majority of those were some type of drive-by shooting. And I'm not convinced that the child was always the target. They may have been at the wrong place at the wrong time. Some of them were home minding their own business, doing what kids do, and someone, recklessly and just heartlessly, took their lives away. So I think that there's a lot going on this year with the pandemic. We know that there's way too much access to firearms from individuals that should not have firearms, because 4 of those deaths were accidental shootings. And I always talk to young people about, okay, you're not legally able to possess a firearm. Don't play with guns. Don't try to tote a gun. Don't join a gang. You need to avoid all that negativity, because it could cost you your life. And we see that way too many young people. We made over 100 arrests of juveniles that have been carrying guns. So we know that guns, gangs, drugs, and domestic violence are a deadly mix in Memphis and in any large city across the United States where we see violent crime. So my heart and prayers go out to the families of those that have lost anyone to violence, but especially it's heartbreaking when we think 29 of our youth have lost their life and to some type of violent act.
How important is it, Director, to have initiatives like True Blue Tuesdays and others that we have in our city to really start the process of building relationships with our youth?
That's another good question. So it's critical. So we know that in law enforcement, there's a false narrative out there that like all cops are bad. Well, that's not true. And we've seen a handful of situations in other cities. And unfortunately, law enforcement has been painted with a very wide paintbrush. And so, since we have so many youth on, I want them to think about something where sometimes people will paint youth as, looking to commit crimes or, not in school or not doing anything productive. And sometimes a handful of kids doing bad acts could get the whole group of youth in Memphis painted a particular way. I remember the situation, at Wolf Chase Mall, and we've had some at Oak Court. But recently we had the situation that was at I think Putt Golf and Games, where some youth, did some vandalisms, and a lot of people were talking about the youth. So youth should not be painted with a wide paintbrush, or we say all youth are a particular way. Neither should law enforcement. And I ask people that take us on a case-by-case basis. We have some great police officers. 99% of our officers are doing what they're supposed to do. They're serving the community with dignity and respect. And then, we have some that make a bad decision, choose the wrong path, and we hold those officers accountable. So I think that with the pandemic, with the guns, with this negative sentiment that we've seen to law enforcement, with a lot of pent-up frustration, kids aren't in school, and so there's a lot of opportunity for things to not go as well as we'd like them to. But we have to rise above that, and we can combat the pandemic. We can combat violent crime. We can promote being respectful, paying attention in school, trying to make good grades, growing up to go to college and or trade school, so that when our youth do grow up, that they end up being productive citizens. And we've also seen the importance of voting, and so that they grow up to not only be productive citizens, that they vote and they participate in the democratic process.
As Mayor Strickland mentioned in his presentation, the word trust. How do we start that process of trust in building a relationship?
So I go into the 201 Poplar prior to COVID, and out meet with some of the young men that are being detained. Definitely I'd go into juvenile court and meet with some of our youth that are in juvenile court. And when I talk to those young men, they don't tell me what other people may say. They just say, hey, director, I made some bad decisions. I didn't choose the right role model. I didn't have a good role model. So, the gangster, the drug dealer, the people that are probably were not good role models are the people that I hung out or that I looked up to. And so we have to make sure that young people know that, you can, if you look hard enough, you can find you a good role model. And if it's not your parent, someone at your church, or even if you're not in church, you can find someone, a teacher, a coach, a police officer, a firefighter, anybody that that's doing the right thing, that you want to emulate, you want to copy. And the Memphis Police Department is definitely here to help. We think that you build trust by building positive relationships, and that's why we have a police athletic league. Our COP unit teaches, the Youth Crime Watch. We have officers in elementary schools teaching the DARE program. We have a Police Explorer program. We have a Police Service Technician program, the Blue Path program. So the key is to seeking out ways to engage, and I want to commend you for starting this True Blue Tuesdays, because this is another way where the youth can hear directly from me, they can hear from you, they can hear from other officers, like Officer Temple that's going to come in and talk about how to interact with law enforcement. So we just want to have a positive platform, a positive space where we can speak and talk and get some feedback from our young people, so we can again make Memphis a better place.
Director Rowland, we talk about community policing. How can we enhance that process in our communities?
Yeah, so we've never stopped doing community policing. We do have a COP unit, but community policing is a department-wide philosophy. So we have 9 police precincts that serve 650,000 people. The Memphis Police Department responds to about 1.7 million calls for service. So 1.7 million people almost every year call the Memphis Police Department. And our officers interact with millions of citizens. And we want to continue to do that. And so we do it officer by officer, precinct by precinct, unit by unit, interacting, having these conversations, building relationships. And again, that's how you build trust, and that's how you magnify community policing. But we know that after 2020 has been such a challenging year that we want to expand upon our community policing efforts. But we need more young men and women that meet the qualifications to join MPD so we can expand all those things.
Director Rollins, we constantly talk about recruiting for our police department. What is that ideal number for a city the size of Memphis to have X amount of police officers? What is that number?
So there's a couple of ratios. So I was reading an article this morning. Washington, D.C. Police Department has about 30 police officers for every 10,000 residents, okay? Memphis, we have somewhere around 25. And we think we need more. We need about 400 to 700 more police officers. That will allow us to do more community policing, more community outreach, more relationship building. And so, unfortunately, we've been down 400 police officers for the last 4 or 5 years, and we want to continue to build upon that. Again, to give officers, the time, because if they're going from call to call, it leaves very little time to interact, and that's why our COP unit is so important. Why our neighborhood watch officers, our coordinators, our officers that drive in a patrol car, that we depend on to stop and talk to individuals and interact. That's why they're so important. But during COVID, I think it's really set us back, and we have not been able to maintain those relationships and those encounters like we were, last year.
Director Rollins, we understand that you will be retiring soon, but for your replacement, who may be contemplating on taking the director's job, what advice would you give them in being successful in this line of work?
Well, first, listen. So this gives us an opportunity to speak, but also I think through the chat box we have an opportunity to listen and have the youth ask questions. So listen to the community. I've seen policing just change so much in the 30 years, and you made me think about it. I pulled the Reimagine Policing Manual here, where the mayor is pulling in citizens and getting input. And also, if the young people on the call go to, or some of the adults go to www.reimaginememphistn.gov, they'll see our Reimagine Policing in Memphis website. You can commend a police officer, or you can file a complaint. But it gives you an opportunity to read more about what we do, and also to talk about where we want to go as we evolve. So the new chief is going to have a lot of challenges because, we'll still be in the middle of battling COVID. We still got to talk about police reform. We'll have a new administration, a new president in the White House. There's a lot to tackle on the economy, social justice, trying to rebuild the Memphis Police Department. So there's a lot to do. But I say, listen, be open-minded, be God-fearing, be dedicated, and you gotta be tough, because this is a tough job. And so building intestinal fortitude, making sure that the person has character and integrity, are those in honesty, and those are the things that I think are critical for the next police director.
Well, Director Rollins, I want to tell you that you have done a stellar job, and I wish you could stay a little bit longer, but I know you have retirement on your mind. But I want to thank you for a great job. Well done.
My retirement, I would have served 31 years in the Memphis Police Department on February the 12th of 2021. I also have already served 30 and a half years in the United States Army, 4 years active duty and the rest reserve. So I've lived a life of service, and I think it's a good time to take a break and allow another person with those character traits that we just talked about, with those attributes, to come and serve this city, because nobody is an island. I don't know all the answers. I definitely don't know everything, and a lot of times you need to have somebody new come in, take a fresh look, and see if they could help make this city a safer place. So I've never been just focused on myself. It's always about building leaders so that they can be prepared to take my spot, so others can be prepared to move up in command and lead the great men and women of the Memphis Police Department. And I definitely can't say I look forward to retirement. It's time to take a break and decompress a little bit, because this is a tough job for any Memphis police officer. But it is really tough being in charge of any large metropolitan police agency in the United States of America today.
We'll be back with more True Blue Tuesdays after these messages. Stay with us.
Help more Memphis youth during the summer of 2021 by donating to the Memphis Office of Youth Services Joy Program. Donate today. PayPal.me/Joy Program.
Being a Memphis police officer allows me to serve my community and empower children on how to handle peer pressure and make better decisions. I help them choose to lead lives free from violence and substance use. Through community policing, I know I'm making a difference.
I am Cassandra Leak, and I'm the best in blue. Apply today, and you too can become the best in blue.
We are reimagining policing. To apply, visit joinmpd.com.
Join us virtually every second and fourth Tuesday of each month from 4 p.m. until 5 p.m. for Mayor Jim Strickland and the Memphis Office of Youth Services True Blue Tuesdays, understanding the law, law enforcement, and an individual's rights. Join us on YouTube at the Memphis Office of Youth Services YouTube channel.
Public safety is our top priority and a foundation for everything that we do. The Memphis Police Academy is nationally recognized for our academy and its training programs. Our diverse curriculum and instructors prepare our officers to provide exceptional service that builds public trust.
I'm Firearms Instructor Tan Lee. I'm the best in blue. Apply today, and you too can become the best in blue.
We are the best in blue, where we are reimagining policing. To apply, visit joinmpd.com.
Welcome back. My guests for this segment are Officer Campbell and Officer Temple, two police officers that we have in our great city of Memphis. But before we get started on our subject, how to comply with law enforcement, I want to get a little background about these two men. Mr. Campbell?
Hello, my name is Officer Clarence Campbell. I've been with the Memphis Police Department for 11 years. When I first got started, I took the opportunity during the hiring process to affect and help my community, as well as get a good job, looking for a career inside the city of Memphis.
My name is Officer Duriel Temple. I've been with the Memphis Police Department also 11 years. In fact, we're actually classmates. I've been assigned to the Community Outreach Program for 7 years. Once I heard about the Community Outreach Program, I felt that this was a way for me to get into my community and get engaged and just find a way to give back.
Well, thank you all so very much for joining me today. How to comply with law enforcement officers if pulled over by police. And that is a major, major hurdle we have among some of our citizens, especially our youth in the city of Memphis. Why is it so important to comply with an officer when pulled over? Officer Campbell?
Well, honestly, it comes down to a life or death situation. You are an occupant of the car, you are an occupant of the officer on the scene, and, anything can affect, your life and the people that surround you over some bad decisions on both a police officer or civilian side.
Officer Temple?
First and foremost, a traffic stop, in our opinion, it shouldn't be life or death. We want a traffic stop to be as simple as just a traffic stop. We both both parties should go home the same way they encountered their situation. So we want to make sure a traffic stop is as safe as possible. That's first and foremost.
So what would make a police officer want to pull over a vehicle in the first place? I mean, what are you all looking for when it comes to being pulled over?
Officers mostly stop vehicles for traffic violations. So officers shouldn't be, in most cases, not stopping the car for anything other than a traffic violation. So when officers observe traffic violations, they make the determination to go ahead and initiate a stop.
We're going to look at some do's and don'ts when being pulled over by an officer. But in that scenario that we're about to see, you're going to see two versions, the right version and the wrong version. And I really want our young people to take this in because it's so very important. Because many parents, when that child leaves their home, a parent is constantly on standby and worrying until that child get back home. And we really want to make sure that they get home safe. So we're going to look at our first scenario and we're going to discuss it after we watch it.
You can't hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. If you would, just keep your hands up where I can see them on the steering wheel. That's perfect.
Hey, man, I'm not a criminal, man.
Okay. Just for information, the reason why I stopped you, sir, your tags are expired on the pickup truck. That was the reason for the stop.
On this truck?
Yes, sir. Were you aware the tags were expired?
This is not even my truck, man. I mean,
And that's fine, but what I want you to understand, you are in possession of the vehicle. Whether it belongs to you or not, you are in possession of the vehicle. Sir.
You got this two of y'all?
Yes, sir.
Just for
That's
some
my
tags?
car. Yes, sir.
Man.
Would you please give me your driver's license and proof of insurance for me?
Man, let me find my truck, man. Man, what is... Calm down, man. I'm just getting my license. Calm down.
Look, hey, y'all had too much coffee, ain't you?
You're a little on edge, man. Calm down, man.
No, sir.
Golly, man. I see what they... There you go, man.
All right, Mr. Temple.
Yes, sir.
What's your name, sir?
James.
James, you and Mr. Temple. This is just for information. When you're moving around like that, it's hard for us to see what's going on. So that's why we ask you to keep your hands in sight for our sake.
We ain't got nothing.
Okay, that's
hey,
fine, sir.
I just get my
Mr.
license.
Temple, do you have your proof of insurance as well?
It's not even my vehicle. I need insurance for my vehicle.
Well, you're in possession of the vehicle. The vehicle has to show proof of insurance on this vehicle. You don't have the insurance for this vehicle right here?
Man, we're going to be late.
Man, we don't never get that.
What does the vehicle belong to?
It's my dad's truck, man.
Okay, all right.
You know, it's not stolen.
Yes, sir. Mr. Temple, when the last time you had a citation for anything?
Man. Yeah, we got one. We got one earlier. You guys harassing us or something? This is the second time today.
This is the first time we seen you today, and this is the first time we made the traffic stop. I'll be with you momentarily. Just for information, so you both know this traffic stop is being recorded.
That's fine. I'm glad. We need that.
I'll be with you momentarily.
Make it quick, please. Man, they don't think about other people's time. You know, we got places to go. It's all about, you know.
Okay, Mr. Temple.
Yeah,
what you cited for was an expired license plate. Okay. The court date is at the bottom of the citation here. If you choose to contest, hold on 1 second, sir. Mr. Temple, if you choose to contest this citation, you have that right to contest it as well, but it's a mandatory court appearance. Okay.
So I gotta sign it, and it's not my truck. I mean,
yes, sir.
Why do I sign? I don't agree with this ticket.
Okay, if you don't agree with it, at the bottom of this citation, when you sign this, it's not an admission of guilt. You're only verifying that you got a copy of the citation and you agree to appear in court.
Oh, so when I sign, I'm not saying I'm guilty. I'm just saying, oh, okay.
You agree to appear in court.
Cool.
That's all you're saying. That you agree to appear in court.
I'll see you in court. I hope you're there.
You can fight this.
Yes, sir.
I'll be there. Hope you there, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me sign. Let me sign this quick, because I will be there.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't throw that.
It's okay. All right, Mr. Temple, here's your driver's license.
Thank you.
Here's your proof of insurance. Have a good afternoon, sir.
All right, y'all. Don't mess up somebody else's life for the day.
Well, Officer Temple, I can tell you are a great actor. Kind of run us through what transpired during that stop.
Well, in this video, we tried to hit on some of the main things we see on normal traffic stops. You had an officer stop a vehicle for a simple tag violation. The officer initiated the stop. First thing you see, you got dark tinted windows. We as officers, we hate to see those dark tinted windows on a traffic stop. Reason being, we cannot see the occupants of the vehicle. We ask people, hey, you getting stopped, you got dark tint, even though it's illegal, and you can't be cited for it, please roll down all windows. We want to see who's in the vehicle. We want to be in control of the traffic stop. Number two, you notice the guys had the radio up loud. You know, be respectful of the stop, be respectful of the officer. I know it's not the best time in the world for most people to be getting stopped, but hey, go ahead and turn the radio down. You know, that makes for an easier, everybody can hear each other a lot better. Officer Kevin, you want to go into what you saw?
Yes. First of all, on a traffic stop or initiating those license sirens, we do understand there is a bit of fear. The fear of the unknown for both occupants of the vehicle on the police side or the civilian side is an unknown. At this point, this video is very lit. It has a lot of sunlight. But when you talk about at nighttime, we want to teach those certain things. We have an opportunity at this time to talk about this traffic stop. Turn the dome light on. As a driver, you are the controlling figure in this vehicle. This is your vehicle. You control the vehicle. You control whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 people inside that vehicle. At the moment it's traffic stop, yeah, it's a bit of fear. So tell the people in your car, I got this traffic stop. Be quiet. Keep your hands where you can be seen. Turn the dome lights on. Roll all windows down. That eases everybody on that traffic stop, especially the officers that are walking up.
All right.
So, like I said, when you use radios, we ask for the ID to verify who we're speaking with. As a police officer, you cannot take a verbal voice, a verbal to tell you that this is who I am.
Right.
So, because when you have a lot of officers make numerous stops, at that particular time, we don't, once the vehicle is gone, after you write citation, the only thing we have is a documentation that we did stop you over this traffic stop.
And to add to it, don't take the stop personal. You see the guy had a lot of attitude in the video. He seemed upset. And I understand it's not, the best time in the world for you, but try to remain calm, be respectful, keep your hands where you can see them. I guarantee you the officer, it's not personal for the officer. The officer observed the violation, which is against Tennessee state law, tags being expired. He made a traffic stop. Don't take that stop personally. It's not that this officer just picking with you that day.
Now, it didn't happen in this scenario, but what if you had the smell of alcohol or marijuana? What does that constitute? A search of the vehicle?
Those things, yes, would indicate an officer taking his investigation further. If an officer walked up to the vehicle, he smelled alcohol, he smelled marijuana, obviously now we got more than just a simple traffic stop, a simple traffic citation. So that would be for the officer to make that determination going forward.
And I guess that would hold true for a weapon, like a gun or what have you, in the vehicle also?
Okay, that's a good point. It's not illegal if you're not a convicted felon, if you don't have any domestic violence conviction. You can have a weapon in your vehicle if you are the registered owner of the vehicle. It's not illegal. You only need a permit to carry the weapon. But I think it was as of 16 or 2017, the law was passed in Tennessee. You can't have a vehicle. But we ask all citizens, notify the officer. Upon walking to the vehicle, hey, officer, hey, I have a firearm in the vehicle. It's under the passenger seat. Do you want me to get it? Not, whatever. Let the officer tell you what he wants you to do. But notify the officer, upon the traffic stop.
Okay, now let's look at the right way.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
All right. You know why I stopped you?
I don't.
Okay. The reason why I pulled you over because your driver's license plate have
Doggone it, I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot to get those tags.
Do you have your driver's license?
Yes, sir. I do.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna get you my vehicle.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm all right. Me and my buddy just going to play basketball.
You have your proof of insurance as well?
Yes, sir. Don't drive without it.
And just so you both know, this traffic stop is being recorded.
Yes, sir. That's fine.
All right. Mr. Temple, when the last time you had a citation for anything?
Man, I hadn't had a citation in years. I try to do the right thing.
All right. Stand by. I'll be with you momentarily, okay?
Yes, sir. Take your time.
All right, Mr. Temple.
Yes, sir.
Well, you were cited for driving while tags expired.
Okay.
The court date is at the bottom of this citation. It is a mandatory court appearance.
Okay.
Signing this citation is not an admission of guilt. It only saying that you received a summons to agree to appear in court.
Okay, I
Any
understand.
questions?
No, sir, I understand, man. It just slipped my mind. I got to get them tags. All right.
All right. Thank you, sir. Here's your driver's license.
Okay.
And here's your proof of insurance.
Thank you, man.
All right.
I'm sorry about that.
Now, Officer Temple, can you roll through that scenario?
Okay, obviously this was a much better traffic stop.
Right.
A couple key points in that traffic stop. Notice the driver. He kept his hands on the wheel at all times. That's very important. We want to always see the driver's hands. That tells us that, hey, you don't have any bad intentions. We want the traffic stop to go well. We don't want any mistakes, mistaking of reaching and all that kind of stuff. Attitude was a lot different. Hey, it's just a traffic stop. It's not a death sentence. Good attitude, everybody goes home. Now, that don't mean that you're going to get out of the ticket every time. But a good attitude just made sure the traffic stop went totally, different. Nobody's going to jail. It's just a simple citation. Officer Campbell?
Well, we don't put on traffic stop. We do like what we call spirit fingers. I like hands to be seen at all times. No turning backs, no reaching. If you do make any kind of overt move to go to your driver's license in your glove compartment or any kind of compartment inside the vehicle, again, notify movement first. We do understand traffic stops can be stressful, again, on both sides. At that time, relax. Know where items at all times. Before you get in the car, and you know what you're going to do, and explain to them about where your license is located. If you do have a weapon, notify the officer where it is located. Again, it's a point in time when the traffic stop, but you have occupants in the car. Calm them down. No movement. Control the vehicle.
Is there a point of elevating your line of defense? Who will elevate that in a situation?
Overt movement will elevate in darkness. Darkness plays a part in this. Overt movement in darkness. So when you're making movements and subtle movements and no conversation or not explaining your movement first, again, we will have to defend or pull back from that situation.
Yeah. And you got to remember, many of the people that we deal with, most of the time, people with ill will, bad intentions, we walk up to a car like that, their wheels are spinning. They may have a warrant, they may have illegal drugs in the car, they may have a weapon in the car. They inadvertently do things on traffic stop that send officers red flags. They start moving around, they're real fidgety. You ask them a question, they repeat it back. So when we see some of those cues, we're seasoned officers. Our defense level goes up. So if you got your license, you're a law-abiding citizen, just remain calm. It's just going to be a simple traffic stop, and it'll be over soon.
Now, without those licenses, without insurance, what does that entail?
Well, it can make you use the long arm of the law, where such as we have to identify who's the occupant of the car. When you do have a warrant, it's not that that personal officer was looking for you. It's just an obligation that you have to, a responsibility that you as a citizen to handle some things that need to be taken care of, such as court. So that warrant just provides an opportunity. Traffic stops, when we do pull you over, again, we have to document those things to let the citizens know who we pulled over, let our dispatchers know where we are, who you pulled over, who was in the vehicle. So those things, can play a big part as far as warrants or illegal drugs, or it can change the whole thing. Not all traffic stops and tickets are jail.
And citizens, be mindful. We're in the 21st century. With 2020, we all wearing cameras nowadays. That traffic stop is being recorded. Be mindful of the things you say, the way you act. All of these things will be played back. If the situation goes to a higher step. So be mindful of that. This traffic stop is being recorded.
Okay, we're going to take a look at another scenario that happened from out of state, and we want to look at it. We want to dissect it, and you all tell us what went wrong or what went right.
Well, I did issue for a defective equipment. It's $80. You have till September 16th to take care of this. To get you to sign over the Exodus.
So you don't even give a warning for this?
You've been driving around for 6 months like that.
I'm truthful.
Well, I'm not going to give you a warning for something you've been driving for 6 months.
But you've seen me in here. You've seen me in town.
No, I haven't.
You had to if I've been up here.
Nope. Either way, I'm issuing you a citation. Sign there, please.
Well, I don't want to sign it because I don't want to do $80.
You don't want to sign it?
No, because I don't think that I deserve to pay $80 for something that is fixable and I can fix it.
All right.
If that's all you want to do.
Go ahead and step out of the car.
Why?
Because you're under arrest. Step out. Step out of the vehicle.
No, I'm not.
Step out.
No.
Step out. I'm giving you a lawful order. Step out.
You be fair with me and I'll be fair with you.
Step out.
No.
You're under arrest.
No, I'm not.
Dispatch. Got one taken off.
You advise you have one taken off?
Get out of the car! 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 Get out of the car!
You better leave me!
Put your hands behind your back!
Leave me alone!
Put your hands behind your back!
No!
Now!
I said leave me alone and I mean it! Leave me alone!
Put your hands behind your back! Put your hands behind your back! Lay down and put your hands behind your back!
I will stand up!
Now!
I will stand up!
No, you will not! You're gonna get it again! Don't move. Why didn't you take off?
Because I knew that you would arrest me.
I wasn't going to. All you had to do was sign a ticket.
But can you, just listen to me a minute. Do you know that nobody wants to come to Cashion for any reason whatsoever? Because they know it's going to be an $80 fine for some dumb something all the time.
Well, when you're driving around like that, where do you think you can go driving around and get away with like that?
Guthrie, Kingfisher, because I'm going through Kingfisher right now to go to Loyal.
You may not listen.
And I've bought groceries.
Well, that was a little different. What went wrong?
Well, first of all, understand on this traffic stop here, options were not given. You know, if it's just to get the citizens to sign, yes, there is an option here as far as when you do, as a citizen, refuse to sign a documentation, it expedites or speeds up the process by you going to speak to a magistrate at that time. Yes, you'll be arrested, but you're going to speak to a magistrate about the citation. So with that being said, options was not given, you know, to say, hey, not sign a ticket or you don't understand it. You do have a right as a citizen to actually speak to a supervisor. We do have bosses above us. We understand it's a lot of uniform patrol in our city of Memphis, but as a uniform patrol, you do have citizens. So again, understand that you do have a right to ask for a supervisor on the scene. The officer will comply or reply to get you a supervisor on the scene to hopefully explain, you know, what he could not explain. So, and at that time, when she basically went into a crisis mode that elevated that situation by her taking off, closing the door, locking the doors, at that time she went in what we call a crisis stage because, again, she didn't know any other options that she had. So, again, speaking on that.
And remember, number one, rules are set in place for a reason. Now, she didn't agree with the citation. The side of the road is not the place to hold court. You sign the ticket, it's not an admission of guilt, as we explained earlier. If you feel you've been wronged by that officer, you ask for a supervisor, you can even file a complaint with Internal Affairs. But on the side of the road is not the place for you to make your case. That went from a simple traffic citation to her getting tased, her being arrested. A small situation was made even larger, all because she didn't want to sign for a traffic citation. I understand. You may feel that, hey, you've been did unjustly or whatever, but that's not the way to handle it in this video.
I want to ask, by her pulling off, did that make matters worse? Because when she actually stopped again and still did not comply, then was forced out of the vehicle, and she still did not comply with the officer's command.
Right.
What made the officer tase her? I mean, is that the next level after not complying after so many times?
Well, the number one thing people have to remember, we're human beings. We're not robots. Usually when people behave that way on a traffic stop and take off, usually they are very bad people. People who have committed murders, robberies, they have weapons in the vehicle, and they don't have a problem doing harm to an officer. So when that officer caught up to that individual, his adrenaline was pumping. He thought, hey, I'm finna be in a fight for my life. Even though that was an older woman, she didn't look to be a perceived threat, you never know. So that officer, in his mind, was in for a fight for his life. So those are the things that can transpire from just simply taking off from an officer. You know, you heighten that officer's awareness. And that's not a good situation to be in. And that was easily avoidable.
You know, I think one of the things that really can escalate the problem is not complying with the officer's command or request. How can we start building relationships with our youth early on prior to a traffic stop?
Relationships. You know, when you approach or see an officer, again, knowing the name, we are what you call public police officers. We have names on our shirts. We're working inside the community. We have a lot of what you call citizen contacts. We don't remember everybody's name, but we do know, we try to know the citizens in our community or the citizens we come across. So that's the first step, is like building a relationship. Sometimes it's going to be hard to build a relationship on a traffic stop, but at this time, to have a relationship, to understand, you know, again, it's a ticket. Understand that, yeah, you might feel wronged or you don't want to sign it, speak to a supervisor, go to Internal Affairs. You have a lot of options more than you know.
And in the community outreach program, we have a host of programs geared just toward building relationships. We have a bike program. We have a basketball program that we do with kids. We have several programs where we come in, we familiarize ourselves with the kids. We want them to know you can trust us. It's just, I'm more than just a police officer. I could be a big brother. To some kids, I could be a father, vice versa. So those kind of programs break the ice. So when we come in contact with kids on a traffic stop, they see somebody they recognize and say, you know what, that's Officer Temple. It's no need for me to run. It's no need for me to be afraid. Those kind of programs help with those situations going forward.
Now, how can you get those programs in our homes, our community centers, or schools for that matter? And will it be on a continuous basis? To have a meeting and having a relationship one time, is this continuous?
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up. Many of our programs have been in the schools for years. Due to the pandemic, things have kind of took a back seat. But we went into schools. We've had the Youth Crime Watch. That's a program that we have that's in just about every school in Memphis. We have the Hoops Challenge. Well, we use basketball as the bait. We come in and play basketball with the kids in front of the whole school, make it a big deal. And then afterward, guess what we do? We sit down and we talk about drugs, gangs, violence, the things that we can kind of curb in our neighborhoods. Those things break the ice. We have a bike program where we bring kids to our police station. They show up every day in the summer. They do a strenuous bike ride through our Shelby Farms. We teach them, punctuality, being on time, not leaving their partners, working in a group. All these things are life skills. These are the kind of things that we are already doing to build those better relationships.
Do you see any changes with some of our youth? Are we reaching a majority of our youth when it comes to these type programs?
Yes, we do. We do see a lot of change in the youth. Like I said again, we have to be more creative as a police department. We go in, we have Clippers, Cops, and Conversations, where we go to the pillars of the community. We go to the churches. We go to the schools. We go to the barbershops. We'll meet them right there at the convenience store. So we have a lot of places where we're trying to meet them on their grounds to explain what's going on in their community as far as the crime or relationships. They can talk about a traffic stop. They can try to get an understanding of what's going on or how did this happen, was I wrong, what can I do differently. So this gives them an chance to talk to somebody in a blue uniform, or make you feel comfortable that you know somebody in a blue uniform that will come to their community.
What about going into our barbershops and beauty shops and what have you, getting a chance just to, have one-on-one conversation or a group conversation in our barbershops? Do you think those will be effective ways also in building relationships?
Yes, I do. I really, honestly, hardly think that is a great way of going to the community, because we know in barbershops and beauty shops, those conversations can go everywhere. You can talk politics. You can talk police stops. Because some people's relationships on police is through somebody else when you talk about a traffic stop. Their relationship, they talk about in the barbershop, and it's like the young lady said in the previous video, she said, everybody feels the same way. But she never got pulled over. She never had that traffic stop. This was probably her first one to pay that $80 ticket. But she's living it through the barbershop. She's living it through our community. So here's an opportunity where everybody can get a truth and get an understanding about that traffic stop, especially when you're talking in their community, and you feel freer to talk in your community. Again, it's not us against them. It's us working together. So we all are us.
At what age level do you see the most problem with our youth? Starting at what age? Is it during the time that they are able to drive? If they're not able to drive, what age group is really that dominant, hard to please, hard to understand youth?
Well, I look at it as a middle school. Somewhere between the 6th and 7th grade, they're trying to find themselves and understand these kids are full of energy. They're full of doubt. They got a lot of confusion. They kind of pick it up off the other youth, their peers. That's when really their peer pressure kick in. Elementary, those kids, they run to the police. Their first education is on in the elementary level. Again, you have adults or you have people in the community that, hey, when the police walk by, you better be good. He's going to lock you up. That type of moment. But that's the first education of a child for us. But when we look back at it, the middle schools, when they make their decision, they typically shut down. They're trying to process it. They watch a lot more internet. They got a lot more videos out there. So they get a chance to make up their own police off of videos. And so when we go inside the community, we help to change that narrative to be not just a uniform, but to be an Officer Doria Temple, or to be a Clarence Campbell, or even to be a Director Mike Rao.
And you got to understand, when kids hit their middle school age, they get older, they get a little more freedom. They get a little more chance to get out in the community, and they also get a chance to meet negative influences too. You know, most kids are most sheltered when they're in elementary school, but the older they get, they got a lot of negative influences pulling different ways, and they trying to find out who they want to be themselves. So that's a problem.
Well, we're going to take a look at one more scenario, and when we come back, we really want to make sure that we get an in-depth look at this particular one, because it's one for the record books.
Howdy. You mind putting down the back window, please, for me? All right, awesome. I'm Deputy Blazer with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. Before I ask you for any information, the reason I'm pulling you over is because your windows appear way too dark per statute. Okay. So if you could do me a favor, just roll this window about halfway up. That's good. Right there. So in the state of Florida, the front window can be 25%, back window can be 15%, okay? The lower the number, the darker the tint. Your front window is measuring at 3%, okay? So
I thought it went by the back one, I thought.
No, so as you can see, 3. What that means is only 3% of the outside ambient light is getting through your window. Okay, that's why they do that way. Do you have your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance? You can put this back down for me.
How's it going this morning?
What's that?
How's it going this morning, bro?
Living the dream.
I seen that.
Living the dream.
What the hell happened? I seen you on the trail looking like, what the hell happened?
2513. $1038, please. Rocky Money Rudolph Jr.
Yes, sir.
That name is awesome. That's probably, in 14 years, that is probably the best name I've seen. This is the application for certificate of title.
Yeah.
This
is not like
this is the registration right here.
Okay.
It's saying it's I guess your birthday's probably on the 5th. Is it? Yeah. So ultimately it's technically expired.
Yeah.
But we don't cite for that. There's case law that says it goes to the end of the month.
Yeah.
So you need to get that changed.
Yeah, I will.
Right?
I'm doing this new project down here, that homeless community thing they're doing.
Okay.
I'm building that there, working down there, building on that and stuff.
Okay.
So I'll be through the area all the time.
All right. Well, yeah, make sure you get that updated. And do you have the insurance card?
Cause I did it over the phone, and they pulled the faxed everything over, and they sent it to my baby mama address, and I ain't been dealing with her. I got to probably go by there and get it.
Do you have an app or anything? You should be able to get it on an app if you've got you sign into the app.
Yeah.
I just gotta check and make sure it's good.
That's good. I just ate that sucker. Okay.
Why are you nervous?
Oh, I don't know. She's caught.
Huh?
No, ain't no reason. But you got bad nerve. I ain't got no reason to be nervous. So. Just my nerves.
What's that?
Just when I got bad nerves. So.
Okay. There's no need to be nervous, man.
Yeah, man. Cause I was wondering, what the hell I did. I thought it was the light or something. Looking like, no, you run the light.
10.
Yeah.
It's a pet peeve of mine. I was just trying to see where you were going because it's seriously unsafe to be pulling cars over there, man. So I don't ever do it.
That's what I was wondering. Like,
I try and follow somebody until they get in a safe area.
Oh, okay.
For me, you know,
Yeah.
and then I attempt to stop.
Trying to get to this hurricane. This tape suck. I don't get on Facebook.
Yeah, we don't need Facebook
Infinity Auto Insurance.
unless you want to Facebook Live us and be like, hey.
You know, I'm with my email.
Might be a
I
stuff.
think it comes to my email. I just paid it. Get my email when I'm speaking.
It's also going to be about time for you to get a new license.
Yeah, I know I get all that stuff straight now. I've been so busy, man.
Right? No,
I
I
gotta take a
feel
day
you.
off.
I feel you. Y'all working today?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just left,
Well, unfortunately, today being your day off, everything else is closed too.
This plate sucks, son.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, bro. I faded already.
Awesome. All right. Mr. Rudolph,
Yes, sir.
is there any reason why there would be a faint of weed coming out of your vehicle? Do you smoke? Do you have any friends that smoke? Anything like that?
No, sir. Just black and mild. Probably black and mild smoke. Just black and mild.
No, I know the difference between black and mild smoke and this and that. Do you have any marijuana in the car?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's no marijuana in the car at all? Okay. And do you have a Florida health card that allows you to smoke medical marijuana?
No, sir.
No?
Okay. Just black and mild. I left on.
What's that?
Just left the Walmart up on.
Okay. Yeah, I did too. I had to go to the bathroom, something fierce.
Oh, that was you I seen back then. I just rolled through there.
You see me go in there, go to the bathroom, come back out.
Okay, I just rolled through and dropped the chick off at work in there. Yeah, okay. I seen the
All
car
right.
back then, but I don't know. I was thinking that first thing in the morning.
All right. Can you do me a favor and just shut the car off for me?
What happened, sir?
Huh? Well, I smell marijuana, and you don't have a card, so I'm not. Listen. I'm not concerned with some personal use stuff, man. It doesn't even warrant my time.
Marijuana, black and mild. I'm smoking a black and mild every time, man.
Would you mind shutting the car off, please?
That's crazy, sir.
Huh?
I'm smoking a black and mild. You said
I understand. Just shut the car off for me, please. Okay? All right. 2513 somehow. Step them up, please. It's no big deal. I mean, I'm not.
You gonna
like I
take me
said-
from a license to marijuana,
listen,
bro?
Listen,
Come on, man.
listen. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. Stop! 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 Put it in park! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Put your freaking hands up! Even though you're just trying to take off with me, step them up now! Sir, I'm telling you! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! I swear to God! Put your hands up! You put it in park! Sir!
Well, I told you it would be one for the record books. What went wrong in that situation?
Well, in that situation, you're talking about an interview that turned to an interrogation to ask some questions about, towards being arrested for using some illegal drugs. Okay, we got to understand that as a officer, not to put ourselves in a bad situation by being on the side of a vehicle, on the side of a car, on the side of a highway. Understand that it is a traffic citation or it is a ticket, it is an infraction. You have your day in court. So with that being said, not to, any moment that you have to pull your gun, that's a great moment, over a traffic ticket, to be honest. So when we look at that situation, and like you said, for the record books, it did make a record, to jump on the side of a vehicle, a moving vehicle, and we had to roll it all the way back. This was over a traffic ticket. And we had to understand, you can't go from a low stage or a calm stage to what you call a panic or a crisis over a ticket or a crisis. When you hear the word, I'm going to be arrested, I'm going to be locked up, and again over a traffic stop, it can turn you to a height awareness of being arrested and turn to be scared. In that situation, he got real scared and it went into a panic and a crisis. So that's the situation that basically went wrong, all the way from damaging to a car to the officer getting hurt.
During that conversation with the officer and the victim themselves, could you tell something wasn't right? Whether he was nervous? Did he appear to have something that he was hiding? Did you all catch that?
In my opinion, with 11 years of experience on this job, making hundreds of traffic stops, that guy, in my opinion, had something to hide. It was probably some deception in his story. He may have had a warrant. He may have been concealing something in the vehicle. For his behavior to turn into, panicky and, he frantic. He even reached for the officer's weapon. That's not normal behavior. The normal citizen that we stop is not going to act that way or react to, hey, it's just a traffic stop, a traffic citation. So in my opinion, it was something else. I don't know the rest of the story, but I believe it was something more to that situation.
Well, you have to really take into consideration, understand, if you are at a traffic stop or if you're at a traffic light and the police come past your car, it's a real inclination or a real moment that we all do that self-check. We check for our seatbelts. We look at the speedometer. We're looking around to make sure. But at that point, when you're inside your own vehicle and you don't know where your driver's license is, or did you have one? You don't know where your registration paperwork, or you have one. Your insurance paperwork, do you have it? Anytime at that moment of a traffic stop and that you panic, that to not know the simplest things, that makes our awareness of suspicion or something being hid. So the citizens, anytime that you being pulled over, again, we're looking for a code of conduct. We try to report who we are, tell you why we stop you. And then we try to, again, we interview. We interview you, asking you probably sometimes, where are you going? Do you know why I stop you? Do you have any weapons in the car? Sometimes that might be a conversation to see if we can smell alcohol. We might notice your overt driving. You might be weaving out the road. We don't understand. We're just trying to make sure that, number one, that you don't hurt anybody else. We're trying to make sure the citizens are okay if somebody in their vehicle. And that's a part of a traffic stop.
And the last point on that situation, if you do have a warrant, if you are on the wrong side of the law that day, just comply. If you got to go to jail or whatever, just comply. At least you walk away with that traffic stop with your life. That's most important. That's most important to the officer. Just comply. If you caught, you just caught. That's the game. That's the way it goes. But just comply and come out of that situation alive.
Thank you for saying that, Officer Temple. And thank you both for, really just laying it out for our young people because it's so very important. If you have any questions or concerns or maybe some ideas that you would like for us to talk about on True Blue Tuesdays, feel free to email us at True Blue Tuesdays at memphistn.gov. That's True Blue Tuesdays at memphistn.gov. Thank you so very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Have a great evening.
Join us every second and fourth Tuesday for True Blue Tuesdays, educating our youth on the law, law enforcement, and individual rights.